Hi friends, in today's section we are going to deal with another culture which has been known as Lac culture. What do you mean by Lac culture? Lac culture means it is a scientific way of rearing artificially the lac insects for commercial production of lac. Then exactly which is the lac insect which produces lac? Its scientific name is Caria laca, or we may also call it as Lacifera laca. The family is Caridae or Laciferidae. It falls under the subfamily known as Coccoidae. The suborder is Homoptera, whereas the order is Hemiptera. Then exactly, friends, what is lac? Means it is a hard encrustation over the body of the lac insect, which acts as a protective cover and is mostly brownish nature, within which this particular lac insect lives. From such type of and coating, a commercial product known as true lac is being produced, which later on is being purified into a commercial produce known as shellac. Now friends, we will look which are the host plants from which the lac insect produces lac. The first one is known as Pallas. Butea monosperma. Most common one is known as bear, Gizupus gizupa. The third one is Kusum, Pilesira olisa. And the last host is known as Khair, Acacia catichu. These are the certain plants from which the lac is commonly been produced. Then which are the strains? Mostly there are two strains. The first one known as Kusumi strain, which lives upon the host known as Kusum, whereas the second, which is the most common one, known as Rangini strain, which lives on all other host. Then exactly how is the life cycle of the lac insect? Initially, the eggs are being laid inside the encrustations. After hatching from the eggs, the first instar nymph emerges out of the cell through a small opening near the anal region of the female. The emergence is known as swarming, whereas the first instar nymphs are known as crawlers. The nymphs, commonly known as the crawlers, are initially minute, boat in shape, reddish, deep in color, and having a length of nearby 0.6 mm with soft body and blackish eyes. They have three pairs of legs been developed and a pair of antennae. Initially, the crawlers search the tender branches and settle on them. With the help of their proboscis, they pierce the shoot with the long stylet and thrust into the host and get settled and move in the forward direction. 1 or 2 days after settling, they start secreting the resinous material known as lac and start preparing the cells which act as the cover on the body. The secreted produced by the resinous glands over the cuticle, except the mouth part, anus, and a small pore which helps that lac insect for breathing purpose. As the insect grows, the secretion also increases. The total body is been covered by that secretion material, creating a globular cell. This secretion continues till the coating around meets with each other, known as collasis, which forms towards the another side also. lac which is been produced by the lac insect, which acts as the cover on the protective cover on the body of the lac insect, is later on processed to produce a commercial product known as shellac. These shellacs are being produced in three steps, the first of which is known as production of crust lac. It is initially removal of the lac incrustations from the branches, either by twisting them or either by using sharp knives. This carved material is known as raw lac or scrapped lac, or we may also call it as stick lac also. This stick lac is later on crushed and powdered, hence known as crushed lac also. After production of this crushed lac, the second step known as production of seed lac, or we call it as grain lac, is also been conducted. This is been done by keeping the crushed lac immersed in water in a cement tub for 3 days, stirring the content regularly and draining up the supernatant colored liquid should be done on regular basis. Later on, transferring of this material and whatever settled at the bottom to a large vat is being later on collected, and a lac dye which settles down is being removed. Such removed bits of twigs and fibrous material along with parts of the insect body that floats are being removed, and the lower sedimented part known as seed lacs. The last step is known as production of shellac. This is also been known as hot metalling method also, in which mixture of grain lac with arsenic sulfide to color the lac to yellowish pigmentation is being conducted. Later on, blended material is being in cloth bags of 9 meter long and 0.6 meter diameter is being heated over an open fire, rotating the bag continuously, from which the lac melts and oozes out of the bag and the sticks to the outer surface. Twist the bag. When sufficient quantity of molten lac is collected outside the bag, put this particular lac coming out of the bag uniformly over a cylindrical container containing hot water and cool it. In such a way, remove the sheet again, heat and stretch by hands into a size of a meter square. Break up this sheet into flanks, which such flanks are been of different color. Mostly the pure shellac is orange to pale yellow in color. You can also shape them into button lacs also. These button lacs are being formed by pouring the molten shakes lac into dies made up of zinc sheets instead of stretching, and cool it, which will result into a very hard button like structure known as button lac. Now we will see other byproducts obtained from lac. The first one is known as molyma. It is a finely divided dust-like material which has been separated from the seed lac, containing nearby 70% of shellac. Whereas the second one is known as kiri. It is a dirt or leftover material in the cloth bag after removing molted lac, containing 50% of shellac. And the last one is known as passiva. It is a material that is collected from the cloth bags by boiling them after removing kiris. Most important thing is then exactly for what this particular shellac is being produced, what is its use? The most important use of shellac is in French polish. You may also use it for polishing the floor also. Previously, it was been used in gramophone recorders. It is also nowadays been used for preparing bangles, sticks, and straw hats, printing inks. It has been used as an insulator in electrical apparatus. It has been used for sealing waxes. It has been used as varnishes in advances, also in paints of wooden toys, also to paint slides of ships just to prevent leakages. Shellac is also having a medicinal Ayurvedic value. Just it acts to cure chronic fever, rheumatism. Lac also has germicidal, febrifuge, that is fever curing, astringent properties, substances including contractions. It is been used for dyeing purpose as it contains nitrogen, hence can be used as a good manure. Also can be used for dyeing eri silk, which gives beautification in red color. There are certain natural enemies which mostly attack on the lac insect, of which the major ones are the predators. There are two types of predators. The first one is known as larger white lac moth. The species is Eublema amabilis. It falls under the family known as Noctuidae and order is Lepidoptera. These are larvae which are dirty white in color and mostly destructive on the trees, whereas the smaller black lac moth known as Holcosera pulveri, whose family is Gillichidae and order is Lepidoptera, the larvae are chocolate-like in color and most severe whenever the lac is being stored. Both these particular moths, female lays the eggs on or near the lac encrusted branches, from where the larvae, after hatching, they bite their way inside the lac encrustations and start directly feeding on the lac insect and destroy it. Also, it has the habit of causing damage to the encrusted covering also. The third predator is known as lacewing fly. Scientific name is Chrysopa species. Its order is Neuroptera. The maggots of the Chrysopa feed on the body content of that particular larval insect and tries to devour it. There are a few of the parasitoids having small wings been present who belongs to family Calcididae and order is Hymenoptera, of whose the female lays their eggs on the lac shells which feed upon the lac insect, mostly the grubs, and tries to destroy it. There are certain non-insect enemies also, such as rats, squirrels, monkeys, which cause damage to the encrusted twigs present on the twigs of that particular respective host. So friends, this is the end of the lac culture section. Good day.